Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear Falconians. Here is your science teacher, Miss Syeda Sahrish Ahsan from Falcon House Grammar School, Campus 9. So, my dear students of Level 7, today we are going to continue our chapter number 6, which we have already started in our previous Zoom class, that is the particle model of matter. In the previous class, we have discussed about the Brownian motion and the diffusion phenomena of matter. Now, today we are going to continue with the topic development of the particle model of matter. In this, we are going to discuss about the hypothesis or the inferences of different scientists which they have given regarding the explanation of matter. So let start from Democritus, the first scientist, who was the time period of the scientist was 460 to 322 BC before Christ, and he was a Greek philosopher, and he said that, or we can say that, hypothesized that all matter is made up of tiny discrete particles called atoms, which are too small to be seen. We are unable to see them with our naked eye. We need a really ultra microscope which will be helpful for us to see the atoms. They are that much smaller in size, right? So basically, he tell us about the matter, that matter is made up of tiny discrete particles, means a very small and a very tiny particles. Those are called atoms, and which are too much small to be seen. Now let's move towards the next uh, scientist. Again, he was a Greek philosopher, another Greek philosopher. The name was Aristotle, and the time period of his life and death is birth and death was 460 to 322 BC. We can say it like 322 BC to 460 BC. So he hypothesized that matter has a continuous composition that can be broken down into smaller and smaller pieces. He discovered, or he told us about matter, that matter has a continuous composition that we can break it down into smaller and smaller pieces. Now he's talking about differently regarding atoms. As we all know that the atoms are the most smallest particle of every matter, every type of matter. He is saying that matter, not about the smallest particle of matter, he's talking about the complete matter, and he said that matter has a continuous composition that can be broken down into smaller and smaller pieces, means that can be broken down into atoms, right? Now let's move towards the next one, who was John Dalton. Everybody is familiar with this man, John Dalton, who was an English scientist, and the time period was 1766 to 1844. He suggested that matter is made up of small discrete particles which are like little solid balls. He said that all the atoms, he actually talk about the structure of the atoms, okay, how the atoms look like. So he said that atoms looks like solid balls, small solid balls, little tiny small solid balls. He suggested about the structure of the atoms, right? Now let's move towards the next one. Who's the next one? That was Robert Brown, and he was the Scottish scientist. And the time period was 1773 to 1858. What he observed? He observed with a microscope that some dead pollen grains suspended in water were constantly moving about randomly in all directions. Means he discovered about the haphazard movement of atoms throughout the time period means continuous haphazard or zigzag movement of atoms which are present inside every matter, whether they are solid, whether they are liquid, or whether they are gas. So basically previously in our previous Zoom class we already learned about the Brownian motion. So he was the one who was Robert Brown who gave that uh, theory or the phenomena about the continuous movement of the atoms present inside the matter. That's why we call it Brownian motion. Now, Albert Einstein was the American physicist and the time duration was 1879 to 1955. He explained that the dead pollen grains were moving because they were being bombarded by the moving water particles. So basically, he described more about the Brownian motion, about the phenomena which Robert Brown gave us, that he observed with the help of microscope that dead pollen grains were in continuous movement or in continuous motion when he dropped those dead pollen grains in the water. So Albert Einstein over here explained that thing, why those dead pollen grains were continuously moving. They were moving because they were being bombarded, means hitted. They were being hitted by the moving water particles, means they were hitted continuously. They were hitted by the uh, atoms of the or molecules of the water. Like water is a liquid and water is a compound basically. So we are the smallest particle of that compound should be called molecule. So basically they were continuously hitting by the molecules of the water. That's why they were moving. This is what Albert Einstein explained about the Brownian motion. Basically, it continues the explanation of the Brownian motion. So this is all about the development of the particle model of matter. Same as we already learned about the development of atomic structure, over here we learned about the development of particle model of matter. Okay, how they described step by step about the matter. Okay, matter is made up of what are atoms and how they look like and what are their composition, and basically what they are doing. They are in the stable form or they are in continuous motion. This is all what these different scientists told us about matter and the smallest particle of the matter, that is atom. So after watching this video, you all have to do a small assignment, a simple home assignment, that is you have to make the chart of the development of the particle model of matter, that is figure number 6.9 already given in your book on page number 128. You guys have to draw that chart in your journals. If you found easily the pictures of those scientists, you can take it from the internet. You can take the stickers. You can use the stickers as well, while you can draw them also, but you have to draw a neat and tidy chart, that is figure number 6.9 given on page number 128 in your journals, right? Okay ji, see you in the next class. Take care.